What's going on, guys? It's your boy Dragon here with the Decayed Soldiers. We're actually here with a continuation of the last OBS TOTS, I named it apparently, which is a tutorial of OBS Studio, which I personally would rather use. This is a Stream Elements version of it. There's two different types. I will give you down below that way. But I have a few lists of things over here I was going to run down last time. I already made a list, but didn't do it last time because I can. But I'm going to start off with a green screen idea that we actually been using in the last couple of videos. The first thing that I'm going to do is going to be the camera, which obviously would make sense. So these are your few set things. I'm going to hide them. Tell the difference. So what this really does, this all relies around a, you don't have to have like auto or it would look decent, like get one of those. Have the money for that, like best way you can possibly do it. I did. I helped build a stand, then put a red base colored blanket on top of it, that way, and then use color key. With color key, it literally asks you what colors you want to set out. Pick between colors, but now if you notice, camera at the bottom left here, you can actually see it faded out a little bit, and you can see behind me now. So what this does, it automatically picks whatever color you want. You have to set your smoothness and clarity, that way it doesn't fade you all the way out. But add that with Luma keys. I personally had to use 4 of these because they just started making my camera look funky. Now, if you look at it, it actually set everything where it looks decent and everything face. Set that up with a color key, the way it clears everything up. Which again, this one I used the shirt that I was wearing today. You don't have to use these if you really don't want to. I personally am not, because I'm not. But I like to sharpen up my image. Sharpen, depending on your camera. I am personally using Logitech 720 capture, which isn't the best. You can get a hell of a better, but always watch your prices because those get actually pretty expensive. And then I color correct because it just fades out a lot of color from my face and everything. But past that, that is actually everything I know about that. That's just a quick run out how to do it. I'll let you guys figure out how to do it. But if you guys have any questions, comments about this in particular, leave them in the comment section below. I can help you out to the best of my ability. That's literally how you do green. Now the next thing that I've got ran down is also a filter mic. Now for life, man, I cannot find what mic is. Obviously, you can tell I'm a pro recorder. I'm a pro everything at what I do. I can just do it like this. So literally, you get your filters again. The way me and Richard did it, we kind of got mine picked up in the background, which helps out with a lot of good things that we don't have to yell. But another thing that we actually have an issue with was, instead of fucking with this down here, normally what you would, there's such a thing called a limiter. So with your limiter, it actually thresholds it down to where it actually basically, this actually turns my of 20 decibels. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a lot. On top of that, what it does is talking and whisper for cut down. It actually thresholds it that way it works out better. Actually, for this instance, I'm going to turn it down a little bit because I've noticed one actually issue. So so yeah, there's that issue solved. Yay me. Another thing that we have is called a noise gate. So for all the background noises that you have, with both myself and Richard, we have a lot of background noise happening, which isn't really a big issue. It's just one of the cameras, or these types of, and it really doesn't help out the fact that all loudly quieter. So kind of just help out, and hello. And it really does help out one of those things. That way it doesn't really like incredibly ruin everything. It kind of just helps smooth everything out. And this really right now, right here, the open and close threshold. And it actually opens due to a certain decibel level. So with this particular mic, I don't know the name of it, don't know. Got it through Amazon. I want to go look. I've personally got mine through Amazon as well. You can actually get that have a sensitivity setting on the mic, which is really helpful. But for this instance, this actually has a open and close threshold through the noise gate. So what it means is the open threshold, what it do is it will open as soon as something is set at 17 decibels. So if I were to start yelling from across the room, it open to capture it, but as soon as it's below 30 decibels, it will kill it. So past that idea, that's really all I can give. Further it up, go to your noise suppression rather than noise gate, and then they actually added a I would almost rather have than the noise gate. That way you don't have a lot of cutoff. Is the RN noise, which is a higher quality method. Granted, it uses a little bit of your CP or CPU usage, but if you have a bigger build like what Richard has, it's not really one of those issues you really have to worry about too much. So for like this instance, since they added it with the latest update, which is the 26.0.2 update, I will personally run the RN noise on his setup. That way it just works out like smoother. Plus it won't like cut out his voice as much. So past that, that is all I've got on the mic setup. So for the next run, I'm actually going to go ahead and run with the Stream Elements and Stream Labs setup that we use, which is really useful for most things that we do. So if you guys have noticed, like we personally use Stream Labs and Stream Elements in our streams. Don't get me wrong, that's not the actual stream like slobs. It's not the streaming setup, but this is where it's ran with. Technically, this program on Internet Explorer or Google, whichever one you guys use, is supposed to be ran directly with slobs. A lot of the stuff that comes on here, you're only supposed to use with slobs, like the multi-stream and the themes and shit like that. But the alert boxes is actually a whole different side of things. For example, for this, if I were to go on here and hit test donation, if I had the thing open, it'll automatically show what I have up. So actually, let me go unhide that real quick. That way you guys can actually see what I'm talking about. That way I'm not speaking out of my ass. So for example, if I were to go on here, and this is on the YouTube side of things. Yeah, so you can do this on YouTube or on Twitch. A lot of these things are actually cross-membered. That way, that's like on this alert box, automatically, if I hit a subscriber.
Beep, beep, on the sheet. I said beep, beep, on the sheet.
One alert box, this URL right here will work with both YouTube and Twitch, and it works on both sides. It's really nice. It works with your donos, your subs, and that's the same thing at Twitch. It works with your followers, your bit notifications, and all that fun shit. You can also go through here, and on the Twitch side at least, I'm not entirely sure about everything on here. I'm going to say, I feel like you can somewhere. You can run text-to-speech, with a lot of people do that anyways. So I personally would suggest if you feel like fucking with it. But another big thing is you can set up a chat box primarily for YouTube, which a lot of people actually don't mind using. I personally like using these. That way you can show off your moderators, you can show off your subscribers and everything from the YouTube side of things. And they also have different things like your event list, which literally is just set up for if someone follows, if someone subscribes, shit like that. And again, this actually works with both sides of the table. This works with both Twitch and YouTube as well. So only one link's all you're going to have. And then the same thing happens with your subscriber goal. Again, it's very self-explanatory. Your stream boss and the jar is kind of one of those things where you just throw it in. And every single time you get a subscriber or a follower, it counts up as an amount and throws it in. Or with the stream boss, you actually get to fight a boss. So if someone went in and donated, I don't know, 1,000 bits, and the lowest one would be like 900, the 1,000-bit person will become the boss, and everyone else has to fight that boss. I think it's pretty cool. It's a good interaction with the stream. Personally, I don't use it because my computer won't run it, and it just looks tacky with our stream setups. So past that, it's not a really terrible idea. Just for us, it doesn't work. I, however, would highly recommend it if that's something you're interested in. I just don't use it. It's not one of my things. And the viewer counter, if you look at the bottom right hand side, that works for both Twitch and YouTube and Once Upon a Blue Moon Mixer, even though you can still put it on there, even though Mixer's non-existent anymore. It's another one of those things you can set it up for your font, what color you want. If I'm not mistaken, even what icon you want. But that's a really good thing for your like actual stream shit. And then as soon as I get done with this, I'll actually throw in a portion on how to add those to your list of things. That way you know how to use those and set those up properly. But on top of that, which is a really good thing for streamers who don't like modding their own chats, which can get pretty complicated after a while, is one thing that I personally like using is like capture protection symbols. It's really something that's helpful in many different ways. That way you don't have to worry about modding your own chat. So, for example, we had the loyalty system set up for, I'm sorry, wrong thing. We have the store system set up where basically every single time someone goes in and does one of the sounds, this is how they do it on the YouTube side of things. So, like, they'll do exclamation point redeem mom, for example, and then they'll literally get this right here. These are just a different way of setting up individual things. That way, stream can, like, work with you. And it's just as simple as doing all this shit. You have your global countdown, you earn points, you have your own settings for that. You can make your name, do whatever preview you want, whatever sound you want to do, as long as it's not copyrighted through YouTube and or Twitch. And then go from there on Streamlabs. Now again, this is completely compatible with OBS Studio. This is everything that we actually use for Streamlabs, or I'm sorry, for OBS. Actually, a lot of our themes came from Streamlabs. However, Stream Elements, which is what OBS is ran through, as a matter of fact, is something that we use hand in hand in every single thing we do. So just to start off automatically in the sense, we actually use every single one of our themes are built here. Every single thing you've ever seen on any of our streams has been built here. This actually gives you a full rundown and a full customizable item where you can go in and make your browsers permanent. Just for example, this is Richard's in-game stream, which is what you guys see whenever he's live. This doesn't look anything like it, but originally it has something like this. You can actually download these as media rather than running them as a browser because in my experience, browsers run OBS hotter or more CPU intensive rather than running media sources, which is by downloading the video, like the theme video, and then throwing it out there rather than running everything through a single browser. Because granted, one browser runs less than 6 frames or 6 media sources, but the extensive use of each different thing that the browser is capturing is going to run your CPU usage through the roof. So past that, that's kind of the way that looks. But this is where we build each of our themes, and on top of that, there's actually a whole theme gallery that you guys can use, which isn't a terrible idea. I personally suggest it. It's just one of those things that's really nice to have. It's really sweet to use. I personally have used a couple of these before. That way, I mean, they're really nice. Some of them are really well animated and shit like that, or they're really well thought out. That's just my throw with a bit. A lot of people have different opinions, of course, but that's on y'all. Another thing that they also have is the Stream Store, which is identical to the thing on Streamlabs. We just have it on both ends. That way, it's not doing it on 2 different things. This is the exact same setup. You can do your sound effects. You can do stream perks. I'm not really too sure what stream perks are, to be honest. But other than that, it's kind of the same idea. And with this, you can actually look at your leaderboard and see how many points each person has gathered. So it's like all time if you look. I personally have gathered 5,000 points from watching. I think we get like 50 a minute, or 50 every like 5 minutes. So out of this, just for Twitch on my account, that's how much I've gotten for this. If you guys would rather use Stream Elements, we don't have as many widgets, such as, unless you build them through the My Gallery, which is a whole different breed of things. It has almost everything that I mentioned on Streamlabs, just in a more confined area. That way it's easier to build and it's more compact. But through the bot section, which I personally like a lot, you have all these different things you can do with people. So, like for example, if I were to go in and make an emote combo, it shows that every single time we go live and someone's already in chat preemptively waiting. It lets them know that we go live. It shows people every single time we stream, or every single time we're streaming. It shows a tweet live in the chat, that way in case we have someone who shows up on Twitter a lot. On top of that, you have slot machine and 8 ball, shit like that. It's really fun to do in chat if you're just getting there for the chill moment of it. And then you have chat commands, which is pretty self-explanatory. That actually does, we can do redeem and all that shit. And again, with spam filters and then timers in general. So that's all I've got for this video. I know it was really, I guess, quick. It wasn't a much to it. But if you guys have enjoyed this video and if it helped you out in any such way, let us know in the comment section down below. Or if you have questions, let us know, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible with them. And if you would rather DM me or DM Richard with the ideas rather than doing comment sections, our socials are as follows. We have Instagram, we have Facebook, and if you guys don't like it, we have our own Discord server as well. You can find all of that at the Decayed Soldiers or at Decayed Soldiers. Our links are actually in the bottom as long as it saves properly. If not, if you go to our main page, it is actually at the top right-hand side of the banner. And for everyone, if this helps you, make sure you let us know by leaving a like down below this video. Or if you don't like, that's up to you. And as always, guys, I will see you in the next video. Peace.